Hey, what's going on, guys? Zedd here, bringing you the Soul Calibur 6 video. So first off, I'd like to apologize for the lack of content the last 2 weeks or so. I just been really busy, a lot of stuff going on in life and stresses, and then I figured I would just wait till Season 2 anyway to make my next video because I didn't really have a video idea that I wanted to do. So I apologize for the delay. I hope none of you have left, and those who are still paying attention and subscribe and all that, thank you so much. With that out of the way, season 2 is here and Hilde, woohoo, great. Um, Today I want to talk about my thoughts on Xianghua S2 Changes and then just my thoughts on season 2 as a whole. And we're gonna get philosophical, so if you don't really like my discussion videos, then this isn't gonna be the one for you. But if you do like my discussion videos, then sit down and listen to my opinion, and feel free to chat in the comments about what you think, and I'm happy to respond. So, first off, I think all the Xianghua changes are fantastic. I actually think that she's a top 10 character, and I will fight you to the death about it. To kind of recap the biggest changes that actually mean something, to me anyway, and what I feel Xianghua needed, I'll tell you right now, it's not PXS-AA, it's not PXS-BB. She didn't need these. We could have not had these, and she would be fine, for the record. The biggest changes that she got were the mechanics as a whole and 66BB. PXS is nice, but she already had a strong Oki game, and her stance transitions aren't any stronger. They didn't buff them. So you still have the same weaknesses as you did in Season 1 with PXS in general. So, I mean, right now a lot of Xianghuas, myself included, are getting away with just kind of doing this randomly. But the truth of the matter is, this kind of stuff is still not great, okay? So, eventually when players figure this out, it's not going to be... You won't really get to use them as much as you might think you will. For the record, I love the PXS moves, I just don't think that we're going to use them as much as Xianghua players currently are. So that's all. That's my point, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. Now, 66BB is fucking huge. Because, like, I'll just showcase this, this real quick. You can't, you can't step in the middle now, which is huge. Sorry, not run, step. You can't step in between these, which is huge. And what that means for Xianghua is now we actually have a ranged option that isn't this trash. And I'm pretty excited by this. This is huge. This single-handedly would be enough to make her a top 10 character. Or was enough to make her a top 10 character. Everything else is icing on the cake. And I'll tell you why. If you think about Xianghua's bad matchups, right? Now, obviously, it's up for debate, and my opinion is different than many, but, you know, a lot of us can agree that, you know, Mina, Ivy, and Siegfried can be a bit rough, right? And that's because of the knockback on their moves and or their range. But what 66BB now does is it gives us an option from range 3, right? So again, I'm referring to like character distances, or in this case, backstep. So 1, 2, 3. Sorry, it was a bit much. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now at this range, we are at the whim of Mina 1B, Mina 6B, and that's it. And then for Siegfried, we're not at whim of anything, or we're not at risk of anything, I should say. And for Ivy, we're at risk of most things. But from this range, we can now threaten something. Because, you see, before that change, you really didn't want to use 66BB because it was just suicide. Like, there would be no point. And 66B isn't enough. The move is not good enough on its own. So now, about the resistance actually that we start apart on this map. 66A, not going to work. 4A, not going to work. 6BB, barely, but they're gonna get out of the way. Now, okay, barely, like, you know, there we go. Now we actually have an option to contest those effective ranges of those 3 characters I just listed, which means that even if it's one option, we now have a play in the mid-range against these characters who want to force us there 24/7. And it's a good play. I'll tell you why it's good. Because if the opponent reads 66B and they go to step, right? So, let me see if this will work. Just so, I don't want to record it. Okay. Say the opponent reads, you know, 6-6B. Well, what they're gonna do, likely, is sidestep. But when you sidestep in Soul Calibur, all of a sudden it brings you closer to the opponent. Closer, 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 closer. So what that's gonna do for us is if they're worried about 6-6BB, that's gonna allow us to do one of two things. Either now we get to run up a little more and flex 6-6A. Now this isn't reaching right here, but if she went to step 6-6BB, it would, right? So let's do this, just to prove it to you. I will record her, and I'll just have her step once. Right? Barely. Okay. You get the idea, right? The idea is that if they're stepping in, or they're stepping, they're likely moving towards us. And if they're stepping with like 7 or 1, that doesn't really matter, because then the 6-6BB would just retract and catch them. So that's not really going to work. So overall, my point is that this move alone is now finally useful. And as soon as they block this first one, like, look at this. Look at the range. As soon as they block this first one, they're at your whim. It's the ball is in your hands. Okay? Because they can't just GI. Because now you get this, right? Or, sorry, let's do this, right? You get this. Or if you think that they're going to do that or resist impact, doesn't matter, right? Because resist impact would beat this, right? We now get that, right? Now, obviously, you get the idea, right? But the point is she could whiff the RI and then die. Now, and then if they go for RE, same thing, right? So now, or just raw 6-6B and then like sidestep punish. Like there are so many options now that make it real. Whereas up until now, it was just raw 6-6B and that was it. That was all you were allowed to do because every other option was so bad. So this is perfect. This is 150% what she needed the most out of everything. And if you don't see the strength of this move quite yet, I'll prove it to you over the coming weeks, or I hope that you see it for yourself. Okay, so again, this move alone makes her a top 10 character. Now that was a really long time on the one change, and I apologize. I just wanted to make it clear. Now then, other options that now matter are the AK. Okay, the AK, or let's move on to another option that matters. Sorry, AK. So AK, it's a little weird. It's a little slow. However, it has a lot more range than 4-4A. So if you look at 4-4A, like I know there's a bit of a step forward there, but you'll see that it doesn't really have quite the same effective range. I know it's a little hard to see, but I did a little bit of testing before this video. And the effective range of this is better. Plus, even though it's a bit slower, look how fast this first hit hits. Like, this shit looks like a low, you know? And it is a natural combo. So, you know, I think. Sorry, let me fact check myself. Yeah, so it's a natural combo, which is really good. This move is really good too, but it doesn't really put you in the same situation. Plus now you can do this on hit, which is huge. Because on hit, all of a sudden PXS becomes a little more real, right? So this move is actually a lot better than a lot of Xianghua are giving it credit for. I still think 4-4A is good, but I think this one's better. Other options now that are really good are full crush 3A hold and while rising A hold. The reason being is they are 0 on hit transitions, which is very strong, especially this. So if you hit this, it doesn't matter that they see you go into stance. That is completely irrelevant. Because now, from this, if they try to contest with the 2A, we get this. Or, you know, if they try to contest with something a bit slower than that, we get the kick, or we get the A, or if you think they're going to vertical, you get this, right? Or if you think they're going to respect you, you get PXS mix, okay? So this is actually a lot better than it looks. And if they want to reverse ledge GI, you get this, right? So this is really good. This move already had like 1,000 strength. Let's just make it 1,001. Right. Wall Rising A hold, I'm a huge fan of. I'm already a believer in Wall Rising single A into crouch mix. So now this makes it even better for a player like me who does use the Wall Rising A series quite a bit. And look at the fact that she doesn't get like pushed back, right? This is big. This is big, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. That those two transitions now exist as well. Okay. Last change for Xianghua that I want to talk about that's worth mentioning, excuse me, is the 6AA change. Now this move is all of a sudden really good now on paper, but don't take it as like, I don't know, don't take it as a crutch move. Like this move is good, but it's not great. Okay. So you can now 2A into 6AA and it's a lot better, like on hit, right? You can't just like jump this for fun, I don't think, on hit. No, you can't, not on hit. And it's a lot faster. And because it's a lot faster, all of a sudden 6A low grab becomes semi-real, right? So this is a much better string. Experiment with it, see how you like to use it. I know I've already been finding some stuff that I like about it. And that's really good. Overall, I like all of the Xianghua changes. Like I've already said, I think they make her a top 10 character. I'm not sure where yet, but currently I have her like 9th. And again, this move alone makes her a freaking terrorist now in many matchups. So I'm pretty pumped about that, and I'm going to be using that a lot. Leads me to my next point. So that's it for changes on Xianghua. Let me know in the comments what your favorite change for her was. Leading me to my next point. As a player, I think my playstyle is going to be changing. So now we're going to get a little more philosophical here and theoretical. So ever since the game came out and ever since I've been taking Soul Calibur 6 seriously, I have been seeing a lot of improvement. Up until about the last 3 or 4 months. And, you know, that's normal, right? It's normal in a competitive environment to reach a point where you not plateau, you know, that implies no growth and stagnation. But you reach a point where you don't really know what this next step is, and any improvement you make is quite minute, and you can't even really notice that you're making the improvement. And that makes it a really rough feeling when you're constantly losing to the same people, or you constantly are beating the same people, and you don't know why you're losing, or you don't know how to fix the reason you're losing, and stuff like that. So recently I've kind of attributed it to a lack of game knowledge and a lack of understanding. But I thought about it more, and I think it was, or is, because I haven't fully solved it yet, but I think it's more a matter of I'm trying to play a game that I'm not good at, or I'm trying to play a game that I don't want to play. Now, what I mean by that is not Soul Calibur. Pardon me. What I mean by that is I'm trying to play a character in a style that doesn't suit me. So Xianghua is very much designed as a rushdown character. Pretty much we can all agree on this. Fast, pokey, evasive, annoying, you know, pretty solid stance, and, you know, very rushdown centric, right? So, you know, it would be fair to say that she's a rushdown character. Now, her weaknesses, up until now, were, you know, a longer range game, or even a whiff punish game, or whatnot. But the way I play fighting games is usually very defensive in nature, or very zoney. Now, for the record, I've tried Mina, I've tried Ivy, I've tried Geralt, I've tried Siegfried, I've tried Mitsurugi. Like, I've tried everyone who would fit the archetype that I want to play. It just isn't as fun for me, and at the end of the day, that's what matters to me the most. You know, not only do I want to play in competition, but I want to have fun doing it. Otherwise, why the hell are you there, right? You're wasting your time and money. I thoroughly enjoy playing Xianghua, no matter what. Win or lose, I always feel like I have a chance with this character, and that's a great feeling to have. So, for me, the buff to 6/6 BB all of a sudden opens the door to this mid-range playstyle. Now, and defensive playstyle. But I'm not going to stop there. I know certain punishment frames off by heart, but not many. I have studied the cast extensively, And it's very defeating for me to feel like that never sticks, it never resonates. Now, obviously, frame data isn't, it's not like homework, but I've never been a strong studier. I never studied for my tests growing up. I just kind of would wing the tests with whatever knowledge I had, and I would actually do pretty well up until the later years of my education. And studying's never been my strong suit, so I have a really hard time retaining frame data information, um, other than very, very key moves, right? And I know Xianghua's punishment data, but I mean, that's my own character, right? So instead of playing a rushdown centric neutral game, instead of playing like frames, instead of playing Xianghua the way that everyone else plays her, with a little bit of Zedd thrown in there, I want to start playing her the way that I want to. And the reason why I stopped doing that was because I was getting a lot of criticism from players who were or are much better than me, saying like, "Oh, that's not an effective way to play. Oh, it's not a very good game plan. You're missing out on this, 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 and this, and this, and yada yada yada, so on, so on, so on." They meant it with the best intentions, most of them, anyway. And I respected their opinion, and I listened to what they have to say on the matter. And that helped me improve a lot as a player for a while. It made me a lot better at the game. It made me a lot smarter at the game. And but I'm at a stage now in my skill where I feel like I'm peaking a little bit. And I think I used to attribute this to being held back by my lack of understanding, like I said. And then there was one time where I thought it was maybe the character, right? And you could arguably say that it is. You could say that Xianghua doesn't fit my style very well at all. But what I prioritize the most in fighting games outside of the zoning and all that is safety, good frame data, and like pokes. Those three things are very important to me. I want to be safe while playing the game. I don't want to take any risks. That is why I play Xianghua. That is why I don't use like her mix-ups that often or her stances. So with 66BB finally being a button, and resist impact being the feature that it is, Xianghua gaining more meter now when she goes into stance, like this combo, like her main bread and butter, right? Here, let's do 0. Her main bread and butter goes into SXS, which generates more meter now. Like, look at that. This move alone is a good chunk, right? So if we do the full combo, right? And let's say I hit the mix-up. That's a quarter meter. Now think about how many launchers and how many times you hit launchers into 66A plus BS Xianghua, right? So there's a quarter meter, right? There's another quarter of a meter, right? You can kind of see where I'm going with this. Oh, failed. Is that I will now be able to play my game and still take advantage of the meter with resist impacting. I am a huge fan of reversal edge. I know I'm in the minority, but it's a lot stronger now because it doesn't initiate on block, which means like Xianghua's options in reversal edge, frankly, they're not that strong, especially round 1. And now, if they're gonna block my reversal edge attack, that's okay with me. That's fine because like let's look at how much meter I gained from doing. Or I'll show you how much meter, rather, I gained from this, right? Oh, she does the triple. Okay, she didn't block it, but even if she blocked it, it would still give me like half a bar. So now these new defensive tools are in play. 66BB is a thing. A-Slide K is a thing, right? It's a Hori mid, with a bit more range and a tech jump and a tech duck, which is like exactly what I wanted. And now when I do land a safe launcher from neutral, and I go into an Oki situation and I win, I'm gaining a quarter of a meter, which is a hell of a lot of meter, right? So all of that to say, and I'm droning on a bit, so I'm going to wrap up the video here. My style of Xianghua is going to be a lot more patient. I'm going to go back to my roots, which is like patient, reactive. That's the other thing. People are saying, "Oh, Zedd, don't be so reactive. You have to take initiative." Well, I'm not good at that. That's not who I am. That's not why I play the characters I play. That's not why my style is the way it is. It's not my style is not just reactive just for fun. I've been playing fighting games for years. I've always had a character to facilitate that kind of gameplay. It just so happens in Soul Calibur, my favorite character, aside from Viola, is Xianghua, and she doesn't really allow for that style up until now. So those are my thoughts on the changes. That's just where I'm at a bit now with my mentality and my playstyle. If you sat through the whole thing, thank you so much. If you didn't, that's okay. Thank you so much as well. I'll have another video up either sometime this week or next week following this one, maybe a bit more tech oriented, like people want to know more about the season 2 changes. So I'll get into that for you guys. I just wanted to get this out there. I wanted to share my feelings with you guys. You know, even if only 100 people watch it and agree or listen to me, that's okay with me. It's a lot easier for me to keep my goal in mind when I start venting into other people. So I appreciate you all. I will see you on the next one. Have a good day. Subscribe to me if you like the content. I generally have a video every week, and follow me on Twitter if you'd like. I have a personal Discord as well. All that crap's in the description down below. Have a good rest of your day. See you on the next one.